Welcome to rHatchery.live. I'm Jose Leal, and I'm here with my partner, Matt Perez, and today's guest, Pieter Spinder. And I'm coming back from being away on some surgeries and such, and so feels good to be back home, back in the saddle again. Pieter, welcome. Nice to have you.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, Pieter, tell us a little bit about what even made you someone we'd want to interview.
Again. What made it?
What made you someone we want to interview?
Maybe because I'm doing things a little bit different, and maybe also because I'm doing stuff outside of the box. It's a platitude, but like the thing is that I like to when people say it's not possible or you can't do that, then I start thinking like, what? Maybe I try. And then I put stuff into the world, which sometimes works and sometimes not. But like they used to call me HDHD. I didn't take any Ritalin or any medicine, so that's why I have 300 ideas a day. And when I put one or two a day, like to the ground and say, okay, we're going to do it, then good stuff happens, and nice stuff happens, and creative stuff, and yeah. That's
you sound like a radical.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So tell us about a bit of your background. What brings you here? How did you take those 300 ideas, and what have you been doing for 56 years with those ideas?
I started because when I was young, actually very young, 1 year old, my sister was 4 years old. She died in a car accident, and then I was being raised very protected. But then what I just said, like this ADHD, it didn't exist back in the 1970s. So then the doctor told my mother that I had apartment neurosis, which meant that I was jumping off the balcony. I was going away. So they were forced to buy a house on the ground with a garden. So since I'm 7, I'm very I initiate a lot of things. And when I was like, they told me that I was not really good in studying. In the end, I finished a degree in marketing and management, and I also studied philosophy. So because they told me that I probably couldn't do it, probably I made it because of that. And then I always worked for myself. And then on a certain moment, I got involved in education. And it's a very interesting story because I was being asked to teach marketing on the University of Amsterdam. And I did it, but after the first lecture, I thought, like, this is not what I'm going to do, because they had already, this was in the time of still of the overhead sheets, and they gave me a box of overhead sheets, and in a book manual, they was already told which slide to put on the overhead projector. And I didn't prepare that well. So after 10 minutes, I said to the students, there were 27 students, I said, sorry, but I didn't prepare that well, but this is not what I'm going to do the coming 3 months. I don't know what I'm going to do, but go home, see you next week, Tuesday, and I will come up with an idea. I went home. Back then I had a marketing company together with 7 other people. We were working on bigger and smaller clients. And then I asked Mark, a good friend of mine, I said, okay, I have this problem. I have 27 students who want to learn something about marketing, but they won't learn it from putting overhead sheets on I think. So what to do with them? He said, why don't you visit our clients with them? I thought, that's a good idea. So 7 times we went to our clients, 7 days actually. So it was also not in the lecture time. It was sometimes even on Saturday. And we went to the clients, big clients, smaller clients, and it was a fantastic ride. But in the end, they of course needed to make an exam, which was a multiple choice exam, and the graduation percentage was the lowest ever in university. It was 1.7%. I think it's still.
That's one hell of an achievement.
Yeah, that's what I thought also. But so I got a letter from university said, okay, we're not going to hire you any longer because you're not good at it and blah, blah. And then 2 months later, they phoned me. There was a lady, a managing director, and she phoned me, said, what did you do with the students? I said, why? She said, no, because we did a survey amongst the students and you got the highest degree ever concerning to interesting lectures, 9.7 or something, which I don't know if it's still the highest or not. So she said, what did you do? Because normally there's a connection between a low percentage of people who got the exam and the other side. So I said, yeah, I paid them €100 everybody to fill in it to make it a good survey. But she didn't believe it. I also didn't do that. So I said, okay, I want to drink coffee with you because according to me, education is not really going well here. So we made an appointment, and after 1 hour, she picked up the phone. This was still these landline phones in 1998. She phoned somebody and she said, yeah, I think we have him. We got him. So she hung up the phone and said, okay, do you want to work here to make new programs in university? Different education. I was still a little pissed because they sent me this letter that I was not able to give lectures, that I didn't know anything about the subject probably, blah, blah. So I said, let's think about it. So I thought about it for a week and I said, okay, these are my requirements. I want to do it 1-2 days a week and I want all the freedom to start whatever course. So I did for 17 years. I developed new programs like entrepreneurship, sustainability and leadership, creative thinking and creative doing, these kind of programs. Most of the time, these were 3 months programs. And yeah, it was kind of successful. Then I got in connection with Chaos Pilot. Chaos Pilot is a school from Denmark. And Uffe Albeck, he started it, I think, 30 years ago already, 40 years ago. And it's a kind of what I'm starting now, the Drop-In Academy. Back then it was called Front Runners. So I visited them. I went to Denmark and we had a good bond. And then together with 2 other guys, we started Chaos Pilot in Rotterdam, which was a school outside of the system, 3-year education, which the ownership of the school was, and also of the program, but also of the school, was in the hands of the students. We had international students from all over the world. Then the school in Aarhus in Denmark became an official education. And then we asked our students, okay, what do you want? Do you also want to become an official education? They all said, no, we don't want. That's why we chose for Chaos Pilot. So the school closed down from one moment on the other, from 1 week to the other week. That was it. And then I was very sad. And then my son asked me, why are you so sad? I said, yeah, the school closed down. So yeah, it's a sad thing. He said, why don't you start your own school? So that was the start of Knowmads Amsterdam, Knowmads Creative Business School Amsterdam, which I initiated together with 7 old students from Chaos Pilots in Amsterdam, later on also in Hanoi, in Vietnam, and in Buenos Aires. And yeah, education, for me, what's happening in education is, it is very much about numbers. It's about quantity. It's about measuring. It's about marks. It's about how many people are coming in, how much money do we earn, blah, blah, all these kind of stuff. Well,
if I can jump in there, it's about bullshit.
It's bullshit, really, really, really. So it's a numbers game. Well, actually, education shouldn't be a number game. That's what I think. So it's about efficiency instead of effectivity. And so with our approach is very much based on 3 different things. First, love. Second, give attention to the people, give attention. So I wrote down actually a sentence of a potential student of the Drop-In Academy. She told me, she said, I'm not a person, I'm a human. And this struck me because she said, the thing is, we need to have attention, we need to have love, so this needs to be in the program, and we need to steer concerning to potential of the people. So then something happens also in the heart. We were talking a little bit about the heart before we went in, about that heart maybe. It starts with the heart. And this is one of the most important things. The heart the heart is the major thing which starts good things in the world. And the thing is, it's not about bullshit. It's not about numbers. It's not about a head game. It's not about efficiency. And that's why I started also now the Drop-In Academy, because this is it's the same thing.
Is that an online academy or?
No. I strongly believe in physical. So we do some stuff online, of course, but I strongly believe in getting people together. And it's very much about the three questions which we are asking ourselves constantly, like as a kind of curriculum is, who am I, what is my story, and what do I want to put into the world? So first, we need to find out actually, who am I? And youth needs to be guided, and they need to be inspired. They need to get the idea that everything is possible, because when they were young, they had the idea that everything was possible. So that's the thing. And what actually one of my good friends from Brazil, he also started his own school. He said, like, Pieter, where it's actually very much about is everybody, when he or she is born, he has a fire somewhere burning in him or herself for something. Doesn't matter what it is. During life, because of education, but also because of parents, because of economy, because of you name it, there's being put a lot of garbage, a lot of bullshit on this fire. And education has a big hand in this. And the thing is, what we are doing here is because there's always still this little coal inside, like a little red glowing coal inside. And actually what we are doing is, the only thing what we're doing is blow in the fire. That's it. So we don't put gasoline on it, and we don't say you need to do this, you need to do that. No, just blow in the fire. And then amazing stuff happens, amazing stuff. And this is my experience with university students, with the Chaos Pilot students, with the Knowmads students, and also in the corporate world. And we work a lot with corporate clients, leadership teams in Europe. And the last assignment we did was for Henkel, a very big company from Germany. We had a leadership team of 14 people, and they want change. They want to do stuff differently. In their private life, they're already doing it. And they don't know how to do it in their business, because they have KPIs and they have all kind of bullshit stuff around. So what we're doing is we offer a program of 5 times where we physically also meet. Even during Corona, we did it because they wanted to do it online. We said, no, we're not going to do it online. We're coming by car to Italy from the Netherlands, and we're going to do it live. And it was fantastic, because when you bring them together and they get a connection, they see each other in the eye, and they actually know exactly that all this crap of KPIs and numbers and spreadsheets and freaking meetings, they have meetings all over the place. Well, actually, if you trust each other, and this is also, and it's a safe environment, this is also in the education, very important part. You create a safe environment. People are going to fly. They're going to do stuff which they thought up front is not possible at all. And that gives me a lot of satisfaction that I can see that people start believing in themselves, believing in the world around, and then making a difference, even if it's on 1.5 square kilometers around you, where you have a direct influence. But if you move, then there's a lot of kilometers which you have a possibility of putting good stuff into the world. Absolutely.
So our topic for today, Pieter, is empowering life and work through radical learning. Yeah. So what's your definition of life in that sentence?
Life is very weird. I just told you that when I will die, hopefully it's not soon, but probably it will come. On my gravestone, there will be only the text, "That was weird." I think it's life is something. There is a starting point of the reason why you're there. And the starting point is most of the time love. Otherwise, I would not sit here. You probably also wouldn't sit here. So the starting point of life is love. And if one approaches life as something which is opening and gives possibility, it gives a beat, a heartbeat, a sequence, then you know, your heart knows, your gut knows what to do. And this is also when you were a child, you were experiencing everything, also with all the senses. Like Rudolf Steiner, one of my biggest masters, or like where I really believe in, is also talking about 12 senses. So life is much more connected, and also education is much more connected to everything, to a lot of stuff, to embodiment, than only seeing, reproducing, listening, and following the crowd. So,
well, we're social.
That's what I would say. No, sorry.
We're social animals. We follow the crowd, and
yes, but also that there's also people who are walking the other way, and there are also people in the crowd who think like, "Hey, why is he walking the other way?" Might be interesting. And if you create a safe space, if you create out of love the possibility for people to join, because like it's not about pushing people. Education is also pushing people. Leadership programs are pushing people into leadership. We always say lead or follow with a smile. So we invite people to join. And if today they don't join, then it's probably not the purpose today to do that. Maybe tomorrow. Okay, great. That's it. But pushing doesn't really
it doesn't. It doesn't.
No.
Pushing is force, and
Yeah.
as Jose likes to say, force is a big part of the problem. We use force for everything. You know, coercion, threats. It comes in many forms, right? It's not just one thing.
No.
But we use force for everything.
Yeah.
We hardly ever collaborate. And what we're talking about is collaboration and working with each other and creating a different system. And we're about creating a different system also.
Yeah.
But of the whole business and people and stuff like that.
Yeah. I wonder if I could describe a little bit of that, see if it makes sense to Peter,
Yes.
in maybe in his language. Because the effort that we're doing, the reason we're doing these podcasts is to speak to other people who are doing the innovative work, and to understand how the work we're doing and the work they're doing are really the same work, even though we're using a different language. So for us, the idea of what you call that ember in the heart, I call radical purpose. There is a desire in us. That ember is a desire in us to do things in the world, to make an impact in the world. And so we focus on understanding, as you described there, who am I? Right? And what do I want to do? How do I want to do something? And that's the starting point for the work that we do. We talk about radical, not just that it's a fundamental change, right? As we're used to the word fundamental change, radical. Okay, that's good. But really, radical also means root. It is the root of our society. It's us. And we forget that. We focus on the society piece. We focus on the company piece. We focus on the laws, the rules, the policies, the numbers, as you said. And we forget us. Right? The very thing that it starts with. Please go ahead.
Then it becomes also, I was being called by a HR department of a big company. Then people become resources. But actually, they become robots. So you don't need to feel anymore. You just need to go to your job. And of course, there's also there are people in this world which purpose is to do what they are doing, even if I wouldn't do it like that. But the major problem is that it's now being steered by business, by government, by numbers, by KPIs, by these kind of stuff. Well, actually, if you look at yourself in the mirror, like when I look into myself in the mirror, I don't see a KPI. I don't see a number. I don't see I see somebody who thinks, okay, hey, there's something about head, heart, hands, about the starting point, what you want to put into the world. And the question I ask myself most of the time every morning is, okay, what? So it's actually very much about the combination between human being and human doing. And if you can put that into a 50-50, which is also a number, but if you can put this into an idea about, okay, am I doing this because I need to do it because of somebody else, or is this my being who wants to do this?
Right, right.
And
is this purpose or is this force?
Yeah. And then you need to sometimes make radical choices, like you did. The same, what I found on the internet about you guys. I think like, okay, great.
So take it a step further. When we start talking about work,
yeah,
we start looking at this idea that, okay, so we've got a purpose. We want to do things,
yeah,
but we're being forced to do other things. In education, as you described, we're being forced to just do the numbers, to just pass the test, to remember something.
Actually, if I may jump in there.
Please.
In the idea of getting to the root is to keep things simple and easy to remember.
Yeah.
And there's one number that counts. Okay. And the number is, how much money are you making for me?
Yeah.
That's every KPIs and all the rest of it is bullshit. So how much money are you making for me? And that's the only number. Sorry.
That's why you're the resource, right? Because you're a resource for making me money.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's the way that the world has commoditized life.
Yeah.
Right. We've commoditized life. Every piece of life is just a number value. How much? What amount of money can this piece of life make me? And now we have this throughout our industry in the tech space, lifetime value.
Yeah.
Right? How much will this person that I've acquired as a customer, as a reader, as a participant, how much will they make me? That's the value. It's not how much am I giving them.
It's even going further. It's even like, how much can we create together?
Right.
If it's lifetime, if it's money, if it's welfare, if it's all kind, like it doesn't matter. Like, but what, like one of my root things, starting points for myself is always the thought, like, what can we grow together?
That's the way it should be. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is and like it's interesting what you're saying, Jose, because the thing is, like, people are always asking, like, yeah, but what do you mean with this? What do you mean with that? What do you mean with KPIs? What do you mean with lifetime value? What do you mean with sustainability? Sustainability, big word now, container thing now. So when they ask me, I give some keynotes a year, and I was being asked to tell, okay, what is sustainability for you? I said it's a very simple thing. Sustainability is, if I have a good connection with myself, then I have the possibility from the heart. I have the possibility of a good connection with my surrounding, with the people around, with nature, with the things around. Then it's very weird to start selling Kalashnikovs. That's sustainability. Because it starts with me. And then somebody asked me, okay, now we have this guerrilla army who wants to free the country from the dictator, and they need Kalashnikovs or not. I said, no. That's how we made it. And also, to sell Kalashnikovs brings a lot of profit and this kind of stuff. But the thing is, the starting point is, look the other in the eye and say, okay, but what can we grow together? What do we want to grow together?
Right.
Where do we want to bring this creativity, the creativity which brought us in this world? Where do we want to bring that for the good of ourselves and of the other people and the nature and everything where we live on?
And so the question for us has been, well, how do we become together? What is together? Because together has been us serving someone else, some other institution, some other organization.
Yeah. It's being
Not serving,
externalized.
not serving our life,
No.
the
No.
purpose of our life, but serving something else.
No.
So we don't know how to work in a space without force.
Yeah, true.
Because we've been taught that you have to go to this next classroom at this time, and you have to do this test at this time. And, everything is external force.
Yeah.
And the same thing with work.
Yeah.
Right. So the question for us was, how do we collaborate? How do we learn to collaborate together to do something together, not for someone else to do something?
Fantastic.
And how does that square with the work you're teaching? Would that be part of what you're dealing with your students?
Yeah, we like in the education field, like when I started Knowmads, people were paying a lot of money. It was a rich kid school, from people from all over the world flew into Amsterdam for a year, and they paid a lot of money, and they needed to have housing and this kind of stuff. And the thing was, at the first lecture day, I was sitting there, and I said, okay, I have the curriculum, and I had a blank piece of paper holding in my hand. I said, okay, this is the curriculum. Are there any questions? And they thought like, holy shit, the guy doesn't know what to do. It's, no. I know exactly what I want to do. Like, I have an idea what I want to do, but it is very much about what do you want to do? So how do you want to design your learning journey together with us? And let's see what possibilities we have. It's completely different, like also connected to the business side. We make programs, leadership programs for companies, but sometimes the problem is how to sell it, because we don't know exactly how it will go. After the first meeting we have for 3 days somewhere in the countryside, on a farm, or in a restaurant, then something happens, and then we need to reshape the program. So, but it's always following, most of the time it's following the 5 steps of Otto Scharmer, Theory U. This is how we do it, because life shapes itself, and business shapes itself, and people shape itself in the moment. And then you can make a next step together if you join together and say, okay, we can do this.
So for us, go ahead, Matt.
I was going to say that's what's gotten us to this point, right?
Yeah.
That we do things together that we can't do by ourselves.
Yes.
We can kill an elephant and eat it and stuff like that, because we get together with sticks and stick the poor animal. So yeah, that we went from that to money, and it seems like in the blink of an eye, but it wasn't. It was a long time.
Oh.
Yeah, and I think as Pieter was saying, that what made me think about was you gave the ownership of that classroom to those students.
Yes.
Right?
We shared.
You shared it with them. They shared it with you. You said, here it is. And it's blank. It's for us to write.
Yeah.
That's our view of what an organization should be. An organization should not be owned by someone other than the people who work there. It shouldn't be managed and regulated by someone other than the people who work there.
And there is a lot of companies, like a good friend of mine, Francesco Mondora, he has a company in Italy like this, and it's being run by the people who work there, according to sociocracy, and there's 2,000 people working there. and it works. It because these people, the people are there because of the heart.
Oh, you're talking about self-management, right? They run things.
Yeah, but like they are. It's a kind of cooperative way of having the company, steering the company together with the tool of Ted Rao, sociocracy, which is a fantastic tool, where people feel the ownership. It's not only that they feel the ownership; they have the ownership in a safe environment to create better software to make this world a better place. It's fantastic.
By the way, I should warn the audience that you think sociocracy is great, and so do I actually. It was born in the Netherlands, and Peter's from the Netherlands, so
Yes.
he's
Yeah.
biased. But I'm not biased. I'm Cuban, and I think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
But that's only half of the story. The other half of the story is the ownership,
Yes.
which you talked about. When you started talking, you said something about we co-own the company, or we,
Yeah.
but you have to separate those two. Is the actual ownership.
Yeah.
And let me give you a case in point. I was co-founder of a company in 2007 that was always self-managed. It's from the very, very start. That made it very easy. But in 2017, my partner and I sold the company.
Yeah.
And because we were the owners, right? And everybody benefited, everybody had shares and all the rest of it. But that ownership is always present. You were talking about being the present. Whenever I talk to people and I said, no, I'm just a guy. I'm not going to tell you what to do. And they say, yeah, but there was a but in there, and the but was I was an owner.
You were the source.
I was the source, but I was also the owner.
Yeah.
So
those,
we separate those things.
Yeah, and the example I just made, like Mondora, they started together, two brothers. In the end, they had, after 10, 15 years, they had 80 people. And then they wanted to sell the company also to a bigger company. But then they just put the 80 people together and say, what do you think? And they said, we don't want you to leave. So they sold the company to another company with the restriction that they needed to still be there the coming 10 years, together with them, to see, to evolve, and how are things going to emerge, and together, like really together. And the people who didn't want it, they could leave. That's it. But everybody went.
But by the way, I know Mondora. He's a crazy guy. I love him.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, we've both met him. Matt, you wanna? I think maybe.
Oh, so for next week we'll have David Marquette, and David is the author of Turning the Ship Around, which is one of the books that I read a long time ago, and very inspiring, because this guy basically implemented self-management. Obviously, the submarine, it was a captain of a submarine, and the submarine was the property of the U.S. government, so he couldn't take ownership on the door. But he completely turned it around, and it went from being one of the worst ships in the U.S. Navy to being one of the best. And people wanted people from there and stuff like that. And since then, well, I don't know what he's done since then. We'll find out when he talks to us. And David is a guy I've admired for a long time.
Yeah, he's done some excellent work. Peter, thank you so much for your time today, for sharing with us the work that you're doing, for sharing your ideas, and really the thing that I think we'd want to move forward with is this idea that we're all doing the same thing. We have different language, we have different ways of doing it, we have different focuses on what we're doing, but all of us are doing it from the heart.
Yes.
And we're all doing it for life. for our lives and the lives of those people around us.
Yeah.
And so,
And
welcome-
nature, and don't forget the nature.
life is nature. Nature is life.
Life is true.
And so, thank you for the work that you do, and thank you for taking some time to talk to us today. And until next time, and welcome to Radical.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
By the way, I will send an email introducing you to a woman from Mexico, in the town where our company started, and because she's interested in having a different way of educating kids, not number one to go pee and number two to go not pee, and so she talked to a woman in Guadalajara, and they got they're really close to giving the people more freedom and stuff like that, but not quite there. So I will do the intro, and you guys.
Fantastic.
Hopefully.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
Till next time.
Till next time. Have a good day.